found out that most people cannot put together a 5-minute story and make it make sense. Do you know why? The follow-up to my last video. A lot of filmmakers are learning filmmaking from content creators and not other filmmakers.
Oh no!
20-second videos, 30-second videos, 1-minute videos. So anything longer than that, they can't process. If I buy a new camera, there's a reason. If I buy a new lens, there's a reason. In terms of how important gear is and what is really necessary. Up until this point, we don't have such a thing in Nigeria. If you walk into any camera shop, they will cajole you to buy what they feel is the best. And the people who even attend to you at those places, they don't know what they're selling. There's no problem with something being small. We're not people try to compete for the big things in spaces where when they get there, you won't be special anymore. At the moment, I don't think that there's anybody that does filmmaking consultations.
We've had a lot of combo already that is even making me think that I don't even know where to start from, to be on a very sincere note, right? So let's even start from your philosophy.
No, okay.
You just mentioned something very, very spectacular, that your retirement plan.
Yes.
You have the most, I don't say the most, but it's very weird. It's a weird retirement plan if you ask me. Because most of us, we want the big things of life, like, you know, as an end goal. But you just mentioned that you want to own a camera shop.
Yes. That's it. So the thing is, I've never really been moved by, like, you know, having the most flashy things. I don't want to have, like, everything I own or have, they have a specific purpose. Like, if I buy a new camera, there's a reason. If I buy a new lens, there's a reason. I can't live in 2 houses. I don't even, if someone gave me $100 million now, I don't know what to do with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I understand that I can conceptualize saying, oh yes, I can build this business and invest. I understand that ideology, but I'm just not interested in it. Like, if I could, I would move. I was telling someone, because I was on a documentary trip, I think last week, and I said we're in Abeokuta, and I was like, I could actually just move to, there's a smaller town called Ikene. I was like, I really like to live here. Like, I'll just be here in like a small house, just go outside, go to the market, see people, talk to like random people, make a video, just shoot films, document individual people's stories, and then just move on. And then the whole camera shop thing, it just comes from genuinely, I just want to help to better influence people's decision making in terms of like how important gear is and what is really necessary. Up until this point, we don't have such a thing in Nigeria. If you walk into any camera shop, they would cajole you to buy what they feel is the best. And the people who even attend to you at those places, they don't know what they're selling. And that's a huge problem. It may not be like a very lucrative problem to solve, but it's a huge problem that affects the space generally. And it's something that I just believe it will be great for the generations to come, that people can come in and, you know, get advice. They can understand what they are buying. They can learn a bit more, you know, from there, probably even build a community of people, you know.
But would you say that all of this came from, you know, how I've been following your work for quite a while? You've been used to this documentary setup thing that I wouldn't say it's an environmental thing in this case, because we're all different people.
Yeah.
But from what you're saying, this is the first time I'm hearing the second time I'm hearing a Nigerian talk about how I don't want to, for lack of better terms, I don't want to put it in such a way that it looks like that thing is small.
Yeah.
Or it is not up to standard.
Well, it is small. Like, I mean, like, there's no problem with something being small. There's no problem with doing something small. Like, people, I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. Like, maybe it's just the way I idealize life. But I don't think, for example, I can be doing 5 big things, but then you only know about this small thing that I'm doing. Do you get it? I don't chase after, like, a lot of big things that exist, right? The fulfillment you gain from a lot of big things, it fades away very fast. Like, if you bought, when I bought my first camera, like, I thought I was going to be crazy. I thought I was going to be like, God. But when I bought it, I was like, I shouldn't have bought this. Yeah, I was like, nah. Okay, now I have a camera to shoot with. That's nice. But it didn't do more than that for me. And one may think it is a small person's mindset, but on the contrary is, I believe that if I wanted to do something big, I can do something big. I have chosen to make uniqueness out of something small, and that makes that small thing special. You understand? For example, there's a lot of people who make documentaries in the country, and the majority of the documentaries that happens in this country, it goes a certain way. Like there's a format.
Yeah.
And when you see that format, you know the format. When I saw like how it was going, I felt there are people abroad that make much more incredible stories. They've decided to break away from the traditional way of doing things. It may seem like a small change, may seem like a small niche. Oh, this is a very small thing now. But it's actually a big deal.
Yeah.
You understand? Because it's unique in its own way. So, of course, I want to have money. Everybody wants to have money. Everybody wants to be popular for what they are doing, right? But I don't chase after it, because if I just do my own small thing and I'm good at it, you don't need to chase. Like, people will look for you for... Okay, let me give you an example. I was on Instagram yesterday and I saw a lady that posted a video that she's an underwater photographer. In my head, I thought about it. I was like, if in the world there are more than 7 billion people, and there's probably like 500,000 underwater photographers, that means you are unique. Like, in the midst of a lot of people, you are very special.
Yeah.
We're not people trying to compete for the big things in spaces where when they get there, you won't be special anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, yeah. But I mean, if you can figure out a way to do something big in a special way, that's still fine. But generally, people who solve problems solve very... Let me give you an example. Even money points. The problem they solved was this small problem.
Yeah,
in the grand scheme of things, but in Nigeria, it's a small problem that most people have. And when they solve the problem, now
the parents, yeah,
they're not small. So that's what I think about.
You know, how you mentioned, you just put it out there. Like, I just want to retire into like owning a shop first. You know how I talked about, I'm thinking that you may want to do production like a Universal Studio type setting or Marvel Studios in terms of film production, but you're just like, oh, before that is an option, but you did put it like it's the end goal. Just like, oh, I want to have a camera store where I would advise people to, know which type of gadgets would be best for what.
Just advise them generally on film.
And in my head, I'm thinking, is it because you've been working with these people that have been living in, when I say these people, not quote unquote, they are lesser than other people, or because you see the environment, you know how they say environment has a thing or two it does to how you think. You've been working with these people and you see how easy and happy they are. Most of them live up to 120 years and they're happy in their small community. They just want to have fun, own a bike. For the first time in my life, last 3 years, someone told me he just wants to own a bike where he'll go out and do his Okada business, have the small house where he can train his children, and he's fine. He doesn't want to be rich. I'm like, where are you from?
So it's very interesting. And interestingly, I grew up with... So at the very early stage of my life, I grew up with my grandfather. So I've lived a lot with like much older people. I don't know. Maybe that shapes the way like I see life, and I see some of the things that when people talk about, reaching a certain height, I believe in attracting people, not pursuing. Most people, it's good, but the problem is that it's harder to attract. It's very difficult because for you to get to it, that means you have to rise above like a lot of things before you can reach them where this person can or this person should be. Even if a lot of people are not seeing it today, you know that if push comes to shove and when you put all the cards on the table, you know where you stand.
Yeah.
That is super important. And that's the most important thing for me. And that's the reason why till tomorrow, even if I get another project, I will still be worried. Yes, I will be worried. I'll be worried sick.
Why?
I'll be worried sick because I probably will not be able to do it like this last one. This last one was not even really like, but it can be better. There's somewhere that I'm trying to go. Reason why I may not be at the level that this person who Netflix is reaching out to do this, or maybe this production company is reaching out to do this, it's probably because I've not reached the point to be able to attract such. When I get there, it will come. And that thing has worked for me. Okay, let me give an example. The only things I reached out for at the beginning was, I want to edit for you. Please, let me edit for you. Yes. Oh, let me edit for you. Yes. If you have any project, just send it my way. I can mention names, all right? So at the beginning, after like my move to Abuja and all that drama that I had, in fact, I will give you a story. I will give you that story.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a lot of people. There was Abbas, Mr. Who is Who. He shoots for Old Mode Black. There was Shushi at the time. She used to make content, and then she used to make the glasses, the eyewear brand. And then Dini Fagbemi at the time. So a lot of times I just reached out to him that, please, if you're looking for an editor, I will edit. Like, I couldn't put money forward because at that point, I didn't exactly even know how valuable what I was doing was. So I needed people to gauge it for me, which is something that most people don't really know. Obviously, in the process of doing that, people will take advantage of you. But that's normal. Like, it's part of the process. It's better for you to have the opportunity of doing something and getting, let's say, maybe someone takes advantage of you 50%.
Yeah.
But you gain something that is beyond it. Like, I get that money is very important, especially in this time like this. But if you can figure out a way to not put money forward all the time, it will really help in how much growth you can have or how fast you can
grow. Yeah.
Because when you are worried about money, right, you'll be worried about people taking advantage of you, and you'll be worried about not getting enough value. But if you are trying to build a solid foundation, those factors are irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree.
You have if someone does not use you, you are useless. I mean, there's a line, right? I get that there is a line, because let me tell you how it affected me, right? It's a risk. I mean, you have to pick your poison.
Yeah.
So the way it affected me is that I started to see myself more of a tool than a person.
Okay. You may want to break that down.
Yes. At the time, I started to perceive myself like, nobody really wants me like around as a person. Nobody really likes having me around. What they want is
that thing you can offer,
and whatever they can do to get that, but they will do it. And once it's done, that's it. So that's one of the many downsides of it.
But it's good that you figured it out, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
because now you can walk someone through how to navigate that path.
Exactly. Because you need to be able to define it. Like, if you're going to work for somebody for free, the person has to be worth working for free.
For free.
For example, like, I can name like 10 people that if even till now, if someone says go out for this person for free, I will jump.
Please don't name.
I would jump and go.
Why would you jump?
Because I know that even if they don't pay me money, whatever I will gain in that period, I would take it in such a way that when I come back to try and make money, I will not, like, it will be with a lot of grace. I will not be groveling for things. Like, I know that because I know that this person definitely, the knowledge that they have, because of that knowledge, they are not groveling.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for now is not value. I don't need the person's money because the person can only give you so much. Let me give an analogy. If you work with somebody for 5 years and let's say the person passed away, what then happens if you gain value for 5 years and you are younger, you are going to live for more? What then happens after the 5 years if you were chasing only the monetary value? So you need to understand that balance between, okay, for example, I'll take a lesser paying job for the experience. So I've never got an opportunity to shoot in the South, maybe in the pipelines of Delta, and I need it. I need that experience. I need to know
what it feels like. Yeah.
And someone says, well, I'm going to offer you X amounts. It will be very unwise of you as an upcoming creator to say, I don't need it. They're not paying the money they're paying. The only exception is if maybe it's a threat to your life, or you know that if you go there, maybe you lose so much that maybe it may affect you in a certain. But if it's something that you can manage, I'm all for going for it, because until you have gone full sap, see, life is very interesting because life, even though you can position yourself, life already does its own positioning
for you. Yeah.
Life does its own positioning, and that position is based on the value that you have. I know people that, because of the value that they had, that are like the big shots in the industry and make a lot of waves. Most of the work they did was internal. not external.
External, yeah.
It was internal. It was, I need to become this. I need to become this. Until you become that,
You
cannot.
come-
And because what you need to understand is this: for you to be able to call yourself something, like name tags are associated with work and value. There's an apprenticeship period in every craft.
Every craft, yeah.
Like, you will know when you are there. But most people, instead of trying to figure out when they are there, they just try to jump ship and say, oh, don't worry, fake it till you make it. It has its own downsides. Because one problem that usually happens to people is this: if for adventure, because of the way Nigeria is shaped, and because of the fact that a lot of mediocrity is easily celebrated in Nigeria, what will happen is you will get into a situation where you have a lot of jobs. At some point, you will not be fulfilled, because you will not have learned how to express yourself. You will not really have any form of uniqueness. At some point, you will start struggling.
Yeah.
You start struggling for essence. Like, you start struggling for, what do I really stand for?
Yeah.
Do you understand? The biggest problem with that scenario is you will not be able to learn. It's very difficult to learn when you are at the top. For many reasons, there's a way that someone can be busy that you cannot even when you know that I am lacking in this area, you will not be able to see it. Granted, you can decide to work in teams, but for you to be able to work in the best teams, you need to be at a certain level. There's some people that, as a director, there's some kind of DPs you cannot work with. Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you as a person in that chosen career path, you need to work yourself to the point where even the people that you were looking up to can look at you and say, don't worry, you're actually doing well.
Doing well.
This is something that, again, we've all reached out to people that we're looking out.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, we're looking up to a lot of people back in the day, and you send a message to them and they may not respond. That is very understanding. However, you need to understand that there's a point that you can push yourself to the point that when those people see your work, they can recognize you. This person is actually you, and they can come for you. See, let me tell you, the creative industry is very small, and the cycle goes around.
Yeah. Yeah.
The person you were asking for work today may be the one recommending you tomorrow. It happens, and it happens like that a lot. But I feel like you can build yourself to such a valuable point that you don't need to chase, and then you can attract.
You know, the problem, I wouldn't call it a problem,
Yeah.
but it's an actual problem, especially here in this part of the world where we live in, where we have people who are coming out half-baked
Yes.
in literally every industry.
Yes. Maybe I'll quickly chip in something.
Yeah.
I usually say a lot of filmmakers are learning filmmaking from content creators and not other film. But oh no, you didn't just say that. Oh yes. You know, it's actually fact. It's actually fact. Do you know how frequently I have found out that most people cannot put together a 5-minute story and make it make sense? Do you know why? Because they have not learned from anybody who has put together a 5-minute story. Most of the people they watch put together 20-second videos, 30-second videos, 1-minute videos. So anything longer than that, they can't process. And that is dangerous as a filmmaker. So that means when you are making your films and when you are making your stuff, you start to, at some point, your stuff just gets, you know, before now, everybody used to tell me, if you posted a 5-minute video or 3-minute video on Instagram, nobody will watch it. I said it's a lie.
It's popular saying.
I said it's a lie. It's not possible. And I did it. And like the highest video, the video with the highest views on my page it's one of the longest videos on my page.
I think I watched it yesterday.
It's one of the longest.
With Odumodu something.
The Odumodu one is there. There's the one that has the man that draws. That video is like almost 3 minutes long. And that video has, I don't know how many thousand views it has.
I want to dwell a little bit on the environment and what it has done so much on us as creators, right? It's not a popular thing. We have a lot of creative events going on and on, but myself personally, I can't connect with those events because I just feel like they are repeating the circle.
Yeah.
I keep telling people there are circles, stuff that has happened before. How is it that our forefathers, their stories were more unique than now? Why? The environment is just like, and you said something when we were chatting. You said, Nigeria is I think I want to hear that.
Is it? Okay, yeah. I said Nigeria is a breeding ground for mediocrity. And the reason I said that is because in Nigeria, we don't really chase excellence. Wow. We don't chase excellence. We chase, I mean, I guess, there's different school of thought. Oh, yeah, done is better than perfect. But the truth is, most of the people that you watch and they tell you that done is better than perfect, the level of mastery they have is not the same as somebody who just started last month.
Exactly.
So people that are telling you done is better than perfect, the people that have done it, they probably they've chased perfection to the point that the chase of perfection burnt them out. That they now discover that, oh, maybe like I had gone farther than where I thought I was. But that's a point that you have to work towards getting to. You cannot decide that you are there. The system will tell you, like we live in a system. This system will tell you when you are past a particular point.
As a way of playing on our minds, but you have a very unique standpoint on all of these things. Since we started chatting, I've not seen anyone talk about these problems in depth like this in Nigeria. And this is not to impress or wanting to chat about it in a different light. I've only seen people who they want to do and do and do, especially the way you want to just keep it super simple. You don't want, from what they say, that's a different thought line. I'm like, you can still want something small, and that something small can translate to be very big over time.
Yes. So, for example, now in Nigeria, right, at the moment, I don't think that there's anybody that does filmmaking consultations. Like, there's nobody that you can call in Nigeria. If you had a documentary like to shoot, and maybe you needed someone to consult, there's nobody. I don't know anybody that can.
What?
Only call your friends.
What of the old men in the industry?
Have you tried to reach out to any of them? So there's a reason why. So, and it just makes me understand that that's such a small thing, but it's just a big deal. Because most people have that same problem. Everybody says I'm a document. In fact, see, if you search on Instagram tomorrow, you'll see like 100 people that are documentary makers. If you go and watch the documentaries, you will not feel anything. The purpose of a documentary is for you to watch it and feel something. The purpose of filmmaking generally is to evoke feeling.
Yeah.
People used to use filmmaking as a tool to correct social problems. So people use things like this as means to correct like things or to teach people certain things. But now it's just like vibes. Like it's just vibes. And again, that's why I said, because of the age we are in and the times we are in, we are now learning from content creators. You know, maybe back in the day, people like filmmaking was a thing. Like if you're a filmmaker, you go through the ropes, at least you try to do this and do this. Yeah. And then you will learn a lot of things. You'll be able to have expression. Now, people are learning from people that may not be viral tomorrow. You need to go back, because normally sometimes for you to move forward, you have to go back. You have to look back at the foundation of this craft. What were the people that were at the foundation of this craft? What were they doing? I understand that there's a market for social media content creation, and that space is getting super saturated. Like, Google just launched that
VO3.
My God. Like, at some point, like, I am very scared that maybe one day, like, nobody will ask for social media videos because they can just generate a random character, write a script, and then just have it done. They will not leave their bed. That is scary for a filmmaker.
Are you positioning for that?
So in my own mind, where I am positioning myself for, or the mindset I'm coming at, is I need to be able to put myself in such a way that I'm offering uniqueness in my personality, not just the work. Like, so there's a reason why you have a Nolan, right? And these people have different forms of expression, right? And that expression is what makes them who they are.
Mm.
If you miss out on that expression, anybody can take your job. It's not even AI.
Mm.
Anybody can take your job.
So you're not scared that AI is coming?
Yeah, I'm not scared. Like, I'm not scared. Well, because there's things that I do that I know that if I try to deal with the AI, the AI will probably have to be based on my own thought process for it to be able to get that. I may have to feed the AI my own mindsets for it to be able to figure out what to do, which may not, like, most people cannot even have that.
But what would you do if the things that you've been able to build so far in terms of work, portfolio, integrity, what would you do if, let's say, it was wiped out? Now there's this realm of AI, artificial intelligence and all that coming for filmmaking. Now there's generative content.
Yeah.
People are already running with it for the ads and it's working and combating for them.
Yeah.
What are you going to do in a case where it was your whole portfolio and niche was like wiped out?
Let me say it like this. You know how someone says, let me say, Ronaldo or Messi is a good footballer. They know how to play football, but the force behind it is not. They were not born with the ability to play football. What they have is great hand-eye coordination and feet coordination. That's what they have. That means that if you put them in another scenario that requires
those,
they will just continue.
Oh yeah.
So what people are trying to do is they're trying to build. I want to make documentary, and then they just make the content, but they don't know the values behind making it. So if you remove them from that scenario, put them somewhere, they'll be confused. I know somebody that went to shoot a documentary recently. The person mostly does social media content and so shoots all of that. And they took them to a documentary scenario. And when you watch the content, you can tell that this person doesn't know how to tell a compelling story. You can, like, it smells of past past things. Okay, I just want to show you. Oh, this pull shot. Oh, then the guy walks this way, and then I did the gimbal shots, and then he was this, and then I used the drone, and then this, and then all of that. But then when you watch it, let me explain why this is what it is. Describing your work to somebody and somebody watching it, if it cannot tally, in fact, most of the time, the work should be able to speak more than what you can say about it.
Oh yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, most people in Nigeria, instead of focusing on understanding that gap in storytelling, they will neglect that and go and buy camera, or they will put camera and equipment as a limitation as to why they can't do something. I have so many examples. Like, let me say something. In 2021 or 2022, I was still shooting on camcorders.
Why?
Because that's all that was available.
For you at the time. I was like, this is a personal project or paid.
This at the time, it was people that like contracted me to do something. And that was all that they had. Because I could not even, I could not afford to use any other thing. That was all I had. And what I did was, if I can never forget, there's a camera called a Sony Z150.
Yeah.
In the world of camcorders, that's like one of the greatest camcorders. But in the world of like making content, that camera is like at the tip of your mind now. Someone cannot say go and shoot a documentary and you say it's Z150, I'll go and pick.
Oh no.
Do you understand? Except you're a news guy who is where it gets FX3. What I did was I entered, like I checked the camera system. I was like, this camera actually has tweakable picture profiles. This camera can actually control this and this. But nobody knew. So I took the cameras and I sat down with the cameras. And I decided to create a profile that really looked like what I remember the shots I used to, the way I wanted it to look. I tweaked the cameras to make sure that it would look like that.
Do you think all of this came from your years of experience and knowing the game first?
Yes. But let me be very honest, I'm very plain with you. So I've been shooting since like 2017, 2018. I didn't buy a camera until last year.
Why?
Because I could, and in fact, for the most part, I could not even afford it. At the time, what was happening? So what now started happening was, people will see your work and they'll be like, this guy must be making so much. What I did was, I removed money from it and I said, no, whatever it was going to take. So what was happening was, if someone contracted me to do a project and I saw that this person's budget will not be enough, I'll say, bring the money. I'll act for my money and make sure that project looks like it was like this. Yes. Did that for years. I did that for years.
I still do it now.
Now, well, I'm not doing it as much anymore. I don't do it as much anymore.
But what was the motivation? Why is quite to do something like that?
Because I wanted to create the value, whether it was existent or it was calling me or not. I wanted to put myself down. Okay, I've shot this kind of thing. So some people would say, oh, what did you do? Let me tell you, the first documentary I ever shot, I can show you, there's a shot on my page. I shot that thing on a Nikon D3300. That I shot on a Nikon D3300. When I showed, I think one of the first book. Okay, yes, here you go.
That's a Nikon
D3300, yes. That I borrowed, by the way.
Oh no. And I'm not seeing, it doesn't look like you use so much of a lighting setup.
No.
Just like a normal room.
It was a bulb. It was a regular 60 watts bulb that I put into like all those, those decorative China bulbs that they used to call and I put it in front of the guy. And then I studied engineering, so I have a mechanical engineering degree. So I then set it up on a dimmer. There's something called a dimmer, so you can reduce the intensity. That's what I did. Because it was too much still. And it was a kit lens, because who had money from?
I believe this is a reflection of how and why people should learn something thoroughly before they come to this whole level of even wanting to show off, or wanting to show other people?
Everybody that has worked with me, even the people that are still working with me at the moment, that's like number one thing. You can decide to start posting on social media, but I would rather that what you are posting is you are posting things in line of growth. It's like
show the process.
Yes, I'm growing to be this. It's not that you now come out and like when you are learning stuff, you're saying I am X. You know that if you call yourself let's say you call yourself a filmmaker or you call yourself a cinematographer, especially when it comes to niche things.
Yeah.
For example, now a director, like anybody can, if you just go and coordinate a thing, you may not be a good director,
but
you've directed.
Yeah.
But you see, when it comes to like niche things like cinematography, editing, those things are not just emotional, they are also extremely technical. So if you cannot match up to the technicalities of why are you calling yourself it? You know, someone that does not even understand how lighting works or what makes what look good is not calling himself like that's like you failed like the basics. So what are you? That's a lie.
I want to balance this again, because people talk about how you grow. You mentioned it how you grow into things. You keep on doing those things. What you call yourself is what you become, right? You keep on doing those things, and you are gently becoming those things. You are on a fast learning journey.
Yes,
the fast-paced learning. Every day you are practicing doing 1% as much as you can, right? I think there's a balance to.
So there's a balance to it. The people I'm speaking to are the people who are not prioritizing growth and learning, prioritizing appearance over growth and actual work. People that are not ready to work are calling themselves something that they are not working towards. It's not a great because to be very honest, like generally what people post on their social media, you can track where their mindset is and what they are working towards. You can generally track it. It may be in a very specific field, but you can definitely track it. You get what I'm saying? So the people I'm speaking to are the people that if you watch their stuff from last year and you watch the one that they did this year,
no difference.
It's the same thing. And they are still calling themselves X.
Okay, let's niche it down now to some certainty.
Yes, please.
I don't want to like spotlight anyone, right? But you know, there are people who see. Okay, so there are people who are just in it for the money.
Yeah.
They are not seeking improvement.
Yes.
They've been shooting the same thing. They don't know anything about temperature. They don't know anything about lighting.
Temperature. You're going too far now. Temperature is it. They don't even know what shutter speed is.
Some of them don't even know what aperture is. Automatic.
Yeah.
In a camera, why are you shooting on automatic when there is manual?
Right. So here's the thing. Again, you remember when I said that? So let me expand that context. The people are either learning from some content creators that are not real filmmakers, or they're learning from other mediocre people. First and most important thing as a creative is knowing what is good and what is not. What classifies as good work and what classifies as not good. You need to be able to know that difference. You see, the lack of knowledge of that difference is the beginning of most people's downfall. Because you can see something that is like dead, and if that thing is impressing you, then what that means is if that's your benchmark for what is great, then that means you will see the things that are actually good as unattainable, and that those people must have something else that you cannot have, which is a very bad mindset to be in. So you need to gauge what you are looking at. That thing is so important. Who you watch, who you follow, who is inspiring you. Like if you are being inspired by somebody that you guys are, I mean, definitely at some basic point you will get to, everything has diminishing returns. But as I'm speaking to people who are upcoming, including myself, right, is that you have to be looking at people who, let me give you an example, people who have won awards in certain fields. I'm not talking about maybe Nigerian awards. I'm talking people who are critically acclaimed. You should be able to look at those people and say, this person is doing something. Why and what makes this person special? Let me give you an example. I know somebody that has ever told somebody else that I'm lucky.
That you are lucky.
Yes. That is luck. And that I also have access to equipment. I can tell you that most of the things that are on my page, like I probably shot them on like maybe there's stuff on A6400, there's stuff on A72, there's stuff that when I now finally was able to afford to start using FX3, renting, not buy.
Hey, they're affording his rent.
Like that I was able to afford to rent.
Oh wow.
Not film. And then to the point that, okay, I now finally bought my own camera. Throughout the time, you cannot watch the page and say, this person, at this point, they don't have good camera. At this point, they now have good camera. That is what you should be striving towards. You should be striving towards, like, being able to detach physical things, because whatever you are creating has to come from within. And the funny thing is, all those things, every single one of those things, can be manipulated
Easily, yes. Yes.
Bruh, people were shooting videos on a 5D Mark II way back, and if you watch the films, they are good,
Very good moves.
So what's your excuse? Do you know that if you want to look at camera and quality, do you know that an A6300 is better than a 5D Mark II in terms of quality? If you look at the picture, it is better. But why is it that those people's films
They
look
are better than now.
Why?
So I think most of those people, they passed through a rigorous process of learning.
Yeah.
They didn't have much of these things available to them. So you had to learn to work by force. At the time, I remember when I was still learning video editing, there were no AI, whatever, color. You have to do it yourself. So you have to cut on your own. Now we have AutoCut and all those things that help you cut frames and doing rubbish work.
What then happens is that takes away from the uniqueness of the craft. Because if you use the same tool that everybody's using in the same way that everybody's using it, at the end of the day, like, why
Provide the same thing everybody? I mean,
is unique. What we should be chasing after in this space is uniqueness. We need to be able to compete. Like, at the moment, Nigerian films are not competing abroad, like at the level they're supposed to be competing. Like, and it's very painful. Like, it's very sad to see that films from Kenya, films from Uganda, when you watch the films, you can connect.
Why do you think the Nigerian films are not totally like up to that quality?
So I think it's a couple of things. The people who are in charge of making those things happen are not creative minded. There's a lot of influence of producers and, let's say, executives in how a film or a project comes out. The ones in Nigeria, it's even like ×2 because they are mostly, sorry to say this, after profits. Mostly are profit driven. And it's understandable. But the thing is, for many years, even though there have always been films that have been, targeted towards that line of, let's make money off this film. But at the core of those films, you can still take value. Like the entertainment value, the entertainment factor that some films even have, even in Nigerian films, nowadays, you don't get it anymore. There's a lot of people that have made films in other countries, in Iran. And when you watch the films, like, it's maybe like 2 or 3 guys. We're just going around, and because of the way the government there is even struggling to make it. And when they make it, you go to like, this is just insane. But Nigeria will have the money. Before, we used to complain that it was no money. But if you look at it, when the pay in Nollywood was less, they were doing. We don't remember a lot of the.
We are even using them for memes.
Can you understand? There's a time when if you watch Mount Zion films. Like, Mount Zion films are so memorable.
Yeah,
like,
now we still remember them.
Even the story, the way they used to arrange the storytelling, the pacing of a lot of those things, it was great. I mean, maybe some of it was just nostalgia that we're feeling, but I've actually gone back. See, I went back to watch Super Story, One Bad Apple. I went and I watched the whole series on WhatsApp. I was like,
where did you find them?
It's on YouTube.
Wow.
Yes, One Bad Apple is still on YouTube. There's O Father, O Daughter. When I watched them again, I was like, nah, they don't make them like they used to. They don't make them like they used to.
What do you think should be the solution to solve these problems?
I think we need to start to tell two things. Very indigenous stories. And then we need to start to start prioritizing expression over profits. Even if it's for a little bit. Like, we don't need to do it. At some points, expression will become profits.
Yeah.
But if you don't give that expression a chance. Like, recently we heard Netflix left Nigeria. Amazon Prime, I think they've left as well. Why? Because at the end of the day, when those people are pumping money into the system and nobody's coming, because I feel like we just need to start to look backwards and start prioritizing expression and great work. There's some things you watch on Netflix that are good, or some of these platforms that are good. And when you just know that the people that did it, they are not, it's in Nigeria, but they're not Nigeria. I'm telling you, you watch them, I'll be like, it's fun. There's one of the more critically acclaimed ones is Eimofe. I don't know if anybody here has seen Eimofe.
I'm not sure. We're not very.
You've seen it?
Okay.
So Eimofe it's a very expressive film. I will say it's a filmmaker's film, but that film is critically acclaimed abroad. But in Nigeria, nothing.
Why?
I don't know. Because again, another thing is the markets. So I think another problem is that in Nigeria at the moment, the market has been desensitized to what is good because of the flooding of a lot of
International movies.
no, not just international. Like our own local content is not good enough. But people have now gotten to the not good enough that when they see the one that is good, they don't want. Quick segue. People say Nigerians don't understand. If you make this thing like this, nobody will understand. You're not getting. That's the biggest lies. Nigerians watch Korean films and they don't understand what they are saying. What do the story mean? So what do you mean by Nigerians not get it? In Nigerians can watch a foreign language and get it. One thing. So what do you mean? What do you mean when you say Nigerians? They will not understand. You are lying. If Nigerians can watch very complex because some of the Korean films they may seem like just regular love stories. Can't follow it. So what are you talking about? We are just lying to ourselves because we don't want to put in the work. That means that we are lacking something at the moment.
I believe that even the audience have a thing or two to do around.
Yes, because but let me give you an example. If you're the one that influences the market, you cannot put all the pressure of what's you cannot decide how the people will feel. You have to create a scenario where they can feel something.
Yeah.
So you cannot just say, oh, the people are not. You have to do it. You have to figure out a way to do it
So that
they can get it. Did you know that since the beginning of time, there are like maybe 4 or 5 story arcs and storytelling techniques. They've not changed it. They didn't change it. It's the same. So if it's the same, why are we bothered? Like what we need to do is just take the template of those storytelling tech and just bring in. Since now you have resources. When there were no resources, they were doing. What is this? When there are no resources, now getting worse.
So this, I think this is actually food for thoughts for not just our filmmakers, but even we as creators who are creating in different industries, because I represent creators as well. Now, in this case, on the podcasting part of it, this is an industry that we don't even know how to talk anything about.
Don't worry.
This is really, really good, thought-provoking section that we've had. And now we're beginning to spotlight what we see as the major reasons why these things have not been working perfectly. And we've been able to allocate some solutions that we believe can work. And I think I want to encourage even other thought leaders out there who have a thing or two about, because we are not the only ones thinking along this line.
Yes.
So there are many of us. Let's all come out now and let's see how we can solve this, because we're able to solve this. We still now, if we are seeing the problems, it means that there's a solution,
yes,
and we are able to start solving it. It can even be the consulting thing you talked about.
Yeah.
People do not even know that this is an actual problem.
You know that abroad, right? There's people that if you check their YouTube channels, they'll tell you, oh, you can book a consultation session for this. In Nigeria, you cannot even nobody's even doing that. Like you cannot want to make a documentary now and consult and run your story through like somebody that's like there's probably someone that you can, but you have to have a personal relationship with them. So like those options are not even very much available like that. I feel like more people also, again, the problem still falls on some of the people who have figured out the problem. Like step up and say, okay, since this is the problem, let's try to create X and Y and Z solutions.
Do you think you would like to do that?
Yes, I love it. There's nothing I love more than helping people walk through their problems. Like it's a joy for me. But it's just that most people don't really want to hear the truth when you tell them. If someone brings their story to you and you tell them all the reasons why it cannot work and what they can actually do to make it work, most of them just think you are being a bad guy or you're trying to badmouth them or stuff like that. Like if you just tell the person, the way you did this thing, it's not connecting with this. Maybe you could have done this and this and maybe you just feel like, you're just saying it, there's nothing there. Is a guy just talking. But there's a reason why some people's things are working and some are not. There's a reason why people are calling some other people back and why they are not. It's not by luck. It's not mistake. If people are proving themselves and you haven't, when you prove yourself, you will come back. The reason why Oluwadabes gets a lot of directing for commercials. There's a reason why he's sought after in the country. The reason why he's in the top 5, top 3 in the country. There's a reason why. There's value. Do you understand? There's value. There's a lot of things that makes him who he is.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out what it is as a creative. And if something is not coming your way, instead of trying to appear like you are it, just try and get the value. Get the value and wait. Because getting the value is very simple. Just get the value and create. Get the value and create. I know people that have moved, and because they moved, like because they had a lot of value, people left Abuja to go to Lagos and they were able to succeed because they had value.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter where you are. I know people that, I know some from very excellent filmmakers, they live in Jos. They live in Jos. They live a very small life in Jos. They don't send anybody. I don't want to mention, but they don't, like, they will just be there. If anybody needs them, they will call you. People will look for it. Even, I don't want to say Bible now, but even in the Bible, when David was in the bush, they came and look for him now. So they look for you. Like, hey, oh. Anyways.
So I think this whole thing boils down to personal development.
Yes.
We've successfully arrived at what I call my niche.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing this.
Yeah.
We want to let people know that there's an actual problem.
Yeah.
The problem is that people don't know that there's a problem. And when you don't know that there's a problem, you will not even know that there is a way to solve those problems. Now we are beginning to mention the things that needs to be done better. And the funny thing is that most people have had these things over and over and over again. But are you willing to take the step to make this thing better? That's the most cases. So I think this is a whole call to action thing. So there are a lot of us who are fast rising. And I want to tell the people at the top currently, please be on the lookout.
Very, very, very soon, right? So people are going to come out that they will prove everybody at the top wrong. Like all the limitations that all those people said at the top that they had, they will prove them wrong and show them that those limitations people had, people just lied. And you did it, and you did it for personal gain. Because a lot of the things, what are you saying now? Like a lot of things that people are shooting, right, on Netflix, and they will do all of that. Like they can be achieved by like the budget that they have. They can achieve it like
just a little minimal thing, very small money thing that you can.
You will see a lot of stories on Netflix that like they had the potential to be great. For some reason, they just kill it. And you don't be wondering like, what's happening here? This thing could have been much better. I think at the moment you have about 3 options. One is to go the film festival route. 2 is to go the actual cinema / theatrical release in Nigeria. And 3 will be maybe to go to streaming. Going to streaming at the moment now is out of the box because most of the companies that do streaming in Nigeria at the moment are gone. And if you have to get it, you have to have a bit of money and leg to be able to reach there. 2 being the cinema release. In that case, there's a lot of things to do with lobbying. Like if you want your films to go to cinema in Nigeria, the actual truth is you may have to do a lot of lobbying. Like you have to meet this person, talk to this person. There is no, and it's true, there's actually no guarantee, because if the people there don't like you, you may not, like maybe somehow you offend, maybe 2 years ago you offended one guy and you want to put your film in cinemas and everybody just tells you we are not taking your film. Or maybe they will give you a time that nobody comes to the cinema. And then the last, which happens to be kind of like the slowest, but I think it gives you the most reward and fulfillment, is the film festival route. The great thing about most of those film festivals as well is some of the people who come to those film festivals are distributors. So sometimes they may have direct access to some of those streaming platforms as well. And you can actually have a higher chance of getting more work and recognition.
There are a lot of things you've shared here with us. And one of the major problems that I know that a lot of us Nigerians have is we're very good with stacking up knowledge. We keep on learning and learning and learning and learning, and none is leading to action. I think one of the most important things I would say is if people are able to take certain steps to acting towards the things, half of the things they know, they would be extremely wealthy. They would be doing better. They would live happier. If you know those things, you would even live a more better life than you think you can. I want to sincerely thank you for sharing this level of insights with us. It's very, very, very important. Anyone watching us, even until now, it means that you are a lover of value and you are looking to make your life better. Everything we've been talking about here, the problems we highlighted, the solutions we talked about that you can use to tackle these problems, are all boiling down to personal development and how you need to work better to know that these problems have certain solutions. And if it's coming to your mind, that means you have a role to play to solve them. We want to say thank you so much. Do not forget to save this video, bookmark it whatsoever, because it's going to come in handy sometime pretty soon. If you have more bandwidth, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That's one way you can support what we're doing. That way we can continue bringing high quality guests on the show to keep talking about these different problems across different industries. Thought leaders from different industries sharing the blueprints that we need to lead a better life, especially as fast rising creators. Thank you so much and see you guys on the next one.